residence hall comes a recreational field for our
it
new
does.
sprint football team. I think that's a great addition to the campus as well.
Yeah, so being able to develop a zone 5-acre piece of property to really be for students, also a resource for the community as well. But the residence hall, you know, it's the first residence hall, but our site plan would have another residence hall. So we will build that as the demand justifies. So hopefully we'll fill the first building rather quickly, and that there will still be demand for additional on-campus housing. We will then also green the site. So as you know, the site currently is an old asphalt parking lot with some green space, but not lawn necessarily. So we are going to keep all the trees and the beautiful canopy of trees, but we will be converting that parking lot to green space around the residence halls. And then behind it will be a student athletic recreation field. So that field, as you mentioned, will support our inaugural sprint football team, which will start in August 2022 as well. We have our coach hired, and sprint football, that my first question is that 6-on-6 or what is that? Well, sprint football is football as you know it, full pads, helmets, same number of players, the same size field. The only difference is you have to weigh less than 178 pounds. Right. I think when the league first started on the East Coast, which was 1934, it might have been 165, it's now 178, but it makes it more a game of agility and speed, a running game, and certainly there's still tackle, and but the players are similar size, so you don't have the big variation, which also cuts down on concussions and injuries. So it's something unique for us. So I think about Calumet College, and I think football was talked about at one point before I arrived, and maybe I wouldn't have been as excited, but I'm really excited about the opportunity to be part of the founding organization for the Midwest Sprint Football League. So there are 6 colleges, 5 of which are Catholic, but they're all currently faith-based. That's not a requirement, but it's just great that we were able to work together, and starting in January, we started having a few conversations. So for me, it also demonstrates the ability with a good idea and collaboration and working with other colleagues, presidents, but also athletic directors, how quickly you can act on an initiative. So there are 6 in the Midwest. We are the first league. There's an East Coast league that has big name schools that everyone would recognize. Some of them have regular football, like Army, Navy, Cornell, University of Pennsylvania, but they also have sprint football. And so I'm hoping this will provide an opportunity for all those football players that think they're not probably the size to go on and play college football. They can come to Calumet College and get a great education and still pursue maybe their passion for football.
Yes, it definitely caters to that population.
I also wanted to mention with sprint football that the field also gives our campus the first on-campus field. So as far as outdoor recreation, and certainly sprint football, but also soccer, men's and women's soccer, to be able to use it as a practice field. And it is, we have it labeled as an athletic recreation field. So while we might play scrimmages, it's really intended for practice and recreation, so the students can be out there playing flag football, or the dancers could be on the field, or just frisbee, or out there doing exercises. So it will be for the resident students to have that green space right next to them, and then for the community to be able to have a more beautiful space than an asphalt parking lot, to have a green space that is along the Lake George Trail and the biking trails and walking trails around the area. I think it will really just enhance the kind of views of the campus from what our public walking and biking and right-of-ways.
Yeah,
it's exciting.
I think that's great. Honestly, before we introduced this, I never even heard of sprint football. I was like, what is that? They're like, oh, it's so cool. It's just for like smaller dudes to play football. And I think it caters to a very specific population, people who don't have like the size to play college football, like you said, get the opportunity to, do a collegiate sport. If you love football, but you aren't a 200+ guy who could plow anyone, I think it'll be perfect for those kids.
Yeah.
So it'll be great for enrollment, great for, I think it'll be so fun to attend those games too, being able to go to an outdoor game and watch
I think
football.
we have our first game scheduled in Louisville against Bellarmine. I believe it's going to be September 17th, so watch for the date. I'm sure we'll have a fan bus heading down there, and I've already made arrangements to make sure my calendar's clear so I can be there. And the other sort of exciting when you think about student spirit, we are planning. St. Joe College in Rensselaer is certainly our parent institution. We've been independent since 1971, but we were a satellite of St. Joe, and St. Joe was founded by missionaries of the Precious Blood, the same sponsoring order as Calumet College. And we are talking about doing a rival game in Rensselaer against St. Mary of the Woods College in Terre Haute.
Yes.
So it's a chance to meet in the middle. They were all female at one point. So sprint football is a great initiative for them. St. Joe College was historically a men's college, and of course Calumet College has always been co-ed. So I think it's a great story, and I'm really excited to create some energy sort of at a halfway point in the middle of the state, where we were just talking yesterday. I'm not sure what it'll be, but we want to do a passing, sort of like IU and Purdue do for the Oak and Bucket. And we talked about a torch, just the light of knowledge, but to pass a torch back and forth. And we then talked about how the torch is the center of the Indiana flag. So I'm not sure if that will be but that just came up yesterday, as a matter of fact, and I'm like, I love it. So, so we will have something for a rival that we'll pass back and forth. So that's really exciting.
Yeah. So for anyone that doesn't know, are all the games going to be far? Terre Haute, Louisville?
No. There are 7 games a season, and those 7 games every off year, one will be 4 home games, one will be 3 home games, because it's an odd number. Then we'll have this rival game that will, of course, always be away, so there won't be a whole home field advantage necessarily. So approximately 3 games a year would be home, and we are looking at our home field, having conversations are underway with a couple of the local high schools to host our home games. They would be on Saturday, so they wouldn't compete with the evening football games, and then those would be 3 a year.
Okay. And what's the reason for having the games on a high school football field as opposed to the one we're building here, the recreation?
The one we're building here, the size, while it is a regulation field, there won't be bleachers and a press box and that sort of thing. There might be a few bleachers, but not enough to host what we hope to be a big crowd.
Yeah.
That's why I said we would likely have a scrimmage here, where it would just be students that would come out, maybe an interleague scrimmage, or so we will have competitions that would be smaller in nature, but a conference or a league game, we hope to draw a big crowd, and at least our current plan doesn't have bleachers or a press box or sound and lighting or anything like that.
That's super fun still.
Yeah.
That is very exciting. So a fan bus to these far games. That sounds like plans.
Definitely. I plan to make sure that happens. I don't know, I might even ride on the fan bus to get people excited, but I definitely hope that we have a good crowd that comes down. So
yeah, you're going to be starting some chants on the bus.
Yeah.
Be singing songs.
You know me, I'm the biggest cheerleader for our athletes and for our students in general, but So I'm sure you'll be able to hear me from the sidelines.
Yeah, I hope that there's a big turnout for fan buses.
Yeah.
I think that would be super fun.
And our band, being able to have our
Yeah.
band and our pep band at games, and certainly dancers and cheer team.
Yes.
So it's a new initiative, it's an exciting initiative, and I think of Calumet College, we're known for bowling, which is a unique sport, so I thought sprint football fits right in there.
Yeah.
To be known for something that most other schools aren't.
Yeah, I think we have a lot of pieces like that, a lot of
Yeah.
unique pieces. That's awesome. It gives students an opportunity, something else to do on campus or after hours. Jumping on a bus and heading to Louisville sounds like a blast. I would
Yeah.
love to do that, especially to support a new team that's
Yeah.
coming to
We'll
campus.
confirm the date, but I think it's September 17th is what's tentatively on the schedule, so
Fantastic.
make sure you mark it out.
Sounds like a blast. Sounds like a blast.